Okay, so in this video I thought I would go through how I have my Dotfiles set up. So I will mostly be covering Vim, but yeah, so let's get started. The way I have my Dotfile set up is that I have basically a couple of folders here, one for my terminal, one for my shell, and one for Vim, Neovim to be specific. And Neovim actually just is a submodule to quick.nvim, which is my Neovim configuration. That's up on GitHub. That's a little bit popular. So I thought I would be mostly covering this today. So if we go ahead and jump to the quick.nvim directory, we can see a couple of files here. Easiest would probably be to start with the init. I just want to show you here that I have mapped Vim to nvim so you don't get confused. So if we start by going into the init.lua file, we will basically see that I require the configurations from external files, so the init file doesn't get too busy, basically. So let's just go from top to bottom. So basically we can start with the basics here. Let's go through this very quick. I map my leader to space. I turn on relative line numbers. I don't want to wrap text. I have some tab configuration set up the way I want. I want to show the cursor line, which is basically the highlighting of each line you can see. I want to ignore casing on search. This is so nice. I also want to highlight my search. This basically means that as I type, it's going to highlight, which is very nice. I disable swap files. I made sure to split to below and to the bottom or to the right. I have scroll off, which basically means that the page is going to scroll 3 lines when it's only 3 lines left, which I think it's quite nice. Let's see. Then we have error bells, shift width, number width. Number width basically just enables more spacing for the numbers. So if we increase this, we can see that we get a lot of spacing to the left. We don't necessarily need that. And then we have term GUI colors. Basically, not sure what this does. Just make sure the theme looks fine. We have a color column. This basically shows this line at 80 characters, which basically indicates that you should probably start wrapping your line. Show mode, I basically disable which mode I am in, because I use Lua line for this, as you can see down below. Show tab line, yeah, this basically means that the tabs will always be visible, even when I only have one buffer open. Sign column, this makes sure, what does this make sure? Let's disable it to see. Right, this makes sure we always have the column to the left where LSP signs will be displayed. I also do enable mouse mode, which allows me to click on buffers to switch them. Maybe controversial, but I like it. Then we have some basic mappings here for splitting. So VS will do a vertical split, SP horizontal, some bindings for switching panes, quite nice. Some bindings for managing tabs, so basically TN will create a new tab, TJ will go to the left, TK will go to the right, TO will close all tabs except the one you're currently on. Some niceties, CS or Control S will put you into search and replace mode. So let's say we would want to change the API to PIA, we can do that. And then we have a pretty basic file tree setup here. It doesn't use any plugin, because I don't think it's necessary. Vim has this built in. So basically I use the Explorer for this, which puts the Explorer to the left. And I do some resizing. So if I hit Ctrl N, this is going to show. Leader T is going to show a terminal buffer. This is quite nice, and I use it fairly often. You basically just hit escape and then you go into Vim mode. If you hit insert, you're back to terminal mode. And I can just do Ctrl Q. Right, yeah, this just makes sure that escape works in terminal mode. Okay, so that's basically the basics. Let's go back to init here. Color is pretty basic. We have Tokyo Night style. Quite like it. Okay, let's go into the telescope configuration. So I use telescope as my fuzzy finder. I used to use Control P and FCF for a long time. I quite liked both of them, but now telescope is really good, so there's no need to use the other ones, I think. I used the Ivy theme, which basically tells it to be placed below. And there are a couple of themes like cursor, which is quite interesting too. This will place the panel like this. Yeah, I prefer this one. Then I actually use a extension to telescope, which is Git Worktrees. This is a extension by the Primogen for switching between Git Worktrees inside of Vim. Let's see, Git Worktrees. Here. So yeah, this is a very nice plugin. What this basically allows you to do is that if we go ahead and go into a repository with Worktrees, in my case, since I mapped Control T to triggering the Worktrees, I'm basically going to get a pop-up with my Worktrees, and here I can basically switch between these, which is incredibly nice. So yeah, I mapped Control P to open this, Control F to do a file search. Apparently this doesn't use the same theme, that's interesting. Control B to switch between buffers, and then Control T to switch between Worktrees. Right, let's go back to init. So, what perhaps is a bit special with this configuration is that it uses COC for Intellisense. I have done experiments with native LSP, and startup time is actually way worse. I do definitely think this is going to be improved in the future, and then I will certainly switch to it. But for now, I think it's actually a better idea to use COC, in my experience. Let's just take a quick look here. Leader dot is going to trigger the code actions. This basically means that if we go to like a React project, and perhaps we, so for example here, we probably haven't run npm install, but it's probably going to give me some alternatives. So if I hit space dot, this is going to show a list of what the LSP recommends I do. Leader L is going to do auto fixing. So for example, if I were to, I don't use this a lot, but if you use ESLint with integration with Prettier, you can sometimes do like space L and it will fix your formatting for you, which is very nice. I think perhaps if, I don't know, maybe if we return something here and this is unreachable, maybe not. But it's nice when it can be used. GD, basically just go to definition. So for example, if we have a React component, we can hit GD and it will go into that file. Very nice. Shift K is going to basically show the API for this component or for this function or symbol or class or whatever it is. Leader RN, something I use a lot. This basically allows you to rename variables. So let's say I want to rename this to profile. Actually, like this, profile. It will rename it and it will actually replace all the occurrences with a new value. And it actually does this across files, which is super nice. So for example, let's say I were to change the dashboard page here. Maybe not, because this is a default export. Maybe if we were to do like this. Exactly, so 3 documents on this would like to be loaded. If you hit W, this is going to basically, I think, go through these files or something. I haven't used this a lot either, but yeah, it's very powerful. Leader F is going to do formatting for a file. So let's say we have a weird indentation, we hit space F, and this will format the file with the local Prettier configuration. C space is basically going to just open the COC completion list. And here I actually do use tab completion, so I can hit tab and shift tab to toggle this. Okay. And these are just some nice things that you set for CLC. Let's go back to init. So here you can see that I use Lua line. I don't do anything fancy with this. It actually just chooses the right theme automatically. So nothing to show there really. Then I use Traceitter. This is actually very nice. It gives incredibly good syntax highlighting and indentation, and I also use the context comment string plugin to make it so that you can comment out, for example, JSX, as well as regular JavaScript. So if we comment out this, it's going to get commented out like that. And here you can see we get the React comments. So yeah, Tree-Sitter is a extremely good plugin. I use Packer to manage the plugins. COC, Tokenite for the theme, Tree-Sitter, Vim commentary for commenting. So I just hit GC, these comments. Comment string, Git Worktrees, I showed you this, Lua line. Dev icons, this is for Lua line. Yeah, nothing too fancy. Surround.nvim, this is like, should be built in. This makes it possible to hit like change surrounding quotes to double quotes, or delete surrounding double quotes. Extremely good. So I try to keep the plugin list fairly clean, since I want to have a very fast runtime or startup time and make the development experience very smooth. So yeah, this is basically a very fast run through of my Dotfiles and focusing on quick.nvim. The idea with quick.nvim is that you shouldn't actually have to conform to the configuration too much. It doesn't actually ship with any COC plugins installed, so you can basically install all the COC extensions you want. So the ones I use is Prettier, COC Pairs, CSLint, Emmet, TS Server, Svelte, and Prisma. But you can install whichever ones you want, which I think is nice and very easy to do with COC. So yeah, I hope you find this useful, and if you have any questions, actually feel very free to reach out. I love to chat about this stuff, and yeah, I'm at a place where I find my configuration to be very enjoyable, and I use it day to day on work and on hobby projects too. So yeah, thanks for watching, and please leave a like and a comment, and subscribe if you want to, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.